I don't know if it's like spoiler matter, but we know this isn't where he dies. We know Cheng doesn't die here either. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with another episode of modaozushi. Of course, as always, I come back with notes and a board, so let's go ahead and look at that board, where we have the board changelog, and obviously the first note is that I changed the board, as I promised last time, to a past and a present timeline sort of thing, with relationships in the past expressing what has been shown back then, and relationships in the present expressing what they will be. Which is to say that even though we do know that some relationships are going to change based on what we know in the present, the past relationship chart will only reflect what is going on in the past vis-a-vis our point of view in the past, and not the relationships that we know will be to come based on what the people in the present say in the present, because the present side of the timeline is only going to reflect what's happened in the present with the characters we see in the present. Because what I anticipate to happen, and this might not be true, so I guess let me know if it doesn't turn out to be true, or before it doesn't turn out to be true, so I don't waste my time on it. I anticipate that the past storyline is going to take us up to the point of the intro of the first episode, and everything that says happens, we'll see. And then eventually we'll come back to the present and experience the after that timeline again. So I'm letting the past play out in its recap format that we're doing. So, that said, some changes. As I said, the changelog. I unmarked Wei Ying as dead, as we are covering both past and present at the same time, and he hasn't died in the past yet. I removed the red line between Wei Ying and Jiang Cheng, as it hasn't happened yet. Connected Wei Ying to Jiang Cheng with a green line. I added sorry, I don't know how to say this. I apologize if I'm getting any of these wrong. Not my language, and I know there's a whole thing out there about non-native speakers constantly apologizing for saying things wrong, and then seemingly just never getting it right, but chalk that up to me being an idiot if you want. I don't know what to tell you. Jin Zixuan, Zixuan, Zixuan. Try my best. I added them in the past slot beside Yang Li, based on the sword evidence from earlier. So that unnamed character that was with Yang Li, I'm assuming that's them. I connected Zhang to Yang Li with a blue line. I added Ni Huaseng and added a green line from him to Wei and Zhang. Connected him with a white line to Lanzan. And by the way, I'm just going to bring this up now in the middle of this. I recognize the massive error that I'm making in some of these names. For example, Wei Ying. Well, Wei not so much. Wei, I think, is his proper name, or as much as I can tell, because I believe his clan is Ying. So, if I was calling him Ying, I think I'd be making a mistake. Zhang is a mistake, because that's the Zhang clan. I should be calling him Cheng, I think, right? Because his Zhang Qing, Xing is his name, Zhang is the clan's name, so you could just, if there was more Zhangs on the board, you could just say that I was calling all of them out at the same time. I recognize that's the problem. So in the future, I'm going to try and move away from that. Anyway, I connected him with a white line to Lanzan. I said that already. I marked Wei as a part of the Zhang clan as well, because I brought that up and I added Lan Kuren. I'm probably not even close to right. Connected them to Wei and Huasang with a white line and Zan with a blue line. There's probably a lot more changes on the board than that I made without even thinking about it, but as always, you can click the link down below where there'll be a bigger version of the board that you can look at that's not the small one down here, and get on me about anything you see that's wrong there. I should say I spend more time making this board than I do any of the other shows, because everything is just so, I don't know, there's something about the way they're telling the story here that I have to spend more time analyzing it and getting the pictures, putting it up there, and then organizing them up. It just takes me so much longer than everything else. So if I'm making a mistake, would like to know, so just go ahead and point it out to me. I don't care. I don't care if it makes me look stupid. Point it out. I would like to correct. Anyway, as I said, I have notes as well. So in the first episode, we get all the backstory of what happened at the end of the past's narrative, which I guess is how I'm going to phrase that. And the present starts as 25th year of the reign of Zhuangzhang, the year of Yu, 13 years later. In my episode 2 notes, I mentioned how we flashed back to the 18th year of the reign of Zhuangzhang, the year of wuxian, which was listed as 20 years ago. I think something is clearly either wrong with the subtitles or my notes, as the math just doesn't add up. It implies that the present is 13 years after the 12th year of the reign of Zhuangzhang, which would be when the fall of Wei Ying would be, except that we then go back to 20 years ago and have it listed as, again, the 18th year of the reign of Zhuangzhang, meaning that from the fight just outside Mo Village to Zhuanyu going to Guso, the cloud recesses, another 13 years had passed in order for us to go back 20. As I said, I think at the very end of last episode, it's all very confusing to me. I even brought it up into a Google spreadsheet to just analyze it to see, wait a second, okay, if we go here, and then we go back to that, and it's just doesn't add up. So I guess just like the board I mentioned a moment ago, if I'm getting something very obvious wrong, let me know. I guess it's the only way I'm going to figure this out. Because again, I do not want spoilers. Do not tell me spoilers. Tell me how I'm getting it wrong based on current information. If I even get a whiff of a spoiler, I'm not reading the comment. So you gotta let me know how I'm wrong based on information I should already know. A bunch of these notes here are also just going to be just a couple of lines, just insightful stuff about the world building that I want to know for later in case it ever comes up again. Like the Jin clan of Lanling, rich as the princes, it gets said. So if that ever comes up again, or something I can reflect back upon in the present timeline about what the Jin clan is like. Zhizhuan is the heir to the Jin clan, and Jiang's sister's fiance. Again, I should be referring to them as Chang. Chang's sister's fiance. I think that clearly means Yang Li is his sister, thus completing the loop on how he is Jin Lin's uncle in the future. Because I think I established already, I think he's that baby that we see in that flashback. What was it, episode 2? Wuxian's parents were friends of Zhang Fengman, who treats him like one of their own. Thus, I've marked him as a part of the Zhang clan as well, but otherwise, more character backstory for characters we've yet to meet. The side character also mentions that Shang and Wei are like brothers, making me wonder if Chang is going to turn out to be said brother that we know destroyed Wei's home. I didn't realize it in the first watch, but everyone's got a friggin' brother in this show. I'm 4 minutes in at the writing of this note, and I've already added 2 unnamed brothers to the board that got mentioned in passing while introducing us to a named character. They say that Wei doesn't practice swordsmanship, but he stood up to the prized student of Guso pretty well. Also, when Husang was listing out the broken rules, Zahn broke 2 of them himself. I think I mentioned this in the reaction. So, clearly not as squeaky clean as he'd appear. Prosper their family at the cost of their clan is an odd way to phrase something, and I have to admit that I don't fully understand what it means, despite knowing the answer. When Mao from the Wen clan, the answer is the person who prospered their family at the cost of their clan. I guess you could, like, my wife, my son, my parents, I made them wealthy at the cost of our extended family. That could be a representation of that. It's just the way that they phrase it threw me off. The Ni clan's ancestors used to be butchers. I said I was going to write this down, and here's my note on it. Spirits come from living plants and animals, demons from humans, ghosts from the dead, and I assume they mean ghosts from the dead humans, and monsters from dead plants and animals. So that is our separation of each of those things. However, they don't tell us exactly what the difference is between each of those things. Like, I guess it's inherent into the world that you should know what the difference is between a spirit and a ghost, or a demon and a monster, right? So, hopefully that's expounded upon later. So, obviously, Wei is in a Voldemort situation. He's literally just put out his desire to use forbidden forces in front of a classroom of people. If he was going to be stopped, this would have been the time. Of course, I'm pro-necromancer, part of the reason I started watching this in the first place, so I'd certainly not be rooting against him. Hell, I was drawn as him. And my final note for the episode was, so when the Wen clan guy says that most clans are dependencies of theirs, the Lan clan alone won't pose a threat to them. I don't know if that means that they are the primary clan to sort out evil that everyone relies on, or that every other clan is a part of the Wen clan. I suppose something to be sorted out later with more exposition. Either way, though, those were the notes, that was the board, so nothing really left to get into here but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
And the opening. As I said before, here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's only because it's not, I don't know, it's not like the show. It is I don't know, I would almost say a generic anime opening. But the show itself kind of has a feel. And I would say if you watch the first episode and listen to the soundtrack that plays when it's telling you about what happened in the past, that opening to the narrative of the past soundtrack is very much what the show feels like. Also just realized that whatever the water demon thing is in the opening. It's just the element that this feels very much like, hey, this show needs an opening. We don't have an opening yet. And then they just went out and took a bunch of clips from the show and then found a band to do it. By itself, probably a really good song. There's certainly elements of this song that I do like, and I could enjoy it on its own. Certainly. Just as the opening of the show, though, it's very weird. A weird CGI guy. What happened to the animation?
小桥流水，镇河人家，真不愧是彩艺镇。
I mean, hey, we're back to it. Disregard the complaint.
哎呀，真是鸿运当头，祥云照顶，天助我也！小古板忙着来除祟，蓝老头忙着去清河聂家的清谈盛会。好运来了！
This is also super easy to identify people by what clan they're in.
好运，
Everyone's color coded
你
in
把
their
蓝家的人都
outfits.
得罪透，等蓝老头回来，没事给你收拾。
切，你都给我说了这么多回事了，也不差这一次。况且，生前哪管身后事，浪得几日是几日。眼下春光明媚，又有这奶香浓郁、口感松脆的冰品，何乐而不为呢？
Is that a milky frozen dessert? Looks like ham.
没吃过冰品的馋鬼。
谁要云深不知处，整天不给人食吃？要是每天都能吃到这等美味，
Okay, it looks less like ham now.
几个月的。啊，真羡慕这可爱多长大的人呐！
得了吧，
Cornetto.
再罚你抄1月书，你绝对逃得比兔子还快。
哼，对，这冰品师姐铁定喜欢。
So I've only ever
我以后
heard
再来一趟。
Yan Li. You mentioned Yan Li. His sister.
糯米
Sorry, I've only heard of Cornetto from like the Cornetto trilogy, the movies, right?
跑这么快，我看你是要翻船啊！
So I just assumed it was a British
多谢
thing.
关心。
兄长为何要带上他？除祟并不宜玩笑打闹，且碧灵湖水虽诡异，此行凶险难测。
江宗主的首徒与独子，在云梦素有佳名，不一定只会玩笑打闹。而且，你不是愿意让他去吗？我看你神色好像
Okay,
有点
new
像
guy
江
too.
宗主的大弟子
Wan Huan.
所以我才答应。
绝无此事。
在哪儿啊？
谢郎君，侬今天忙忙要到农家里去呀？还要上山我给他理信息，再回来要别步。
多谢姐姐的好意，待会儿便来尝尝这香甜的枇杷。
I was just thinking to myself, what was the point of having some background character yelling away?
魏无羡，你是故意的吗？这么宽的河道你走哪儿不好，非要往我这儿撞？
Obviously, seeing the boat scooch in front of him, they had to run to each other.
不必了，
行，既然金公子都说了，那我就……
只要你们云梦江氏的人都离我远点就行。
你这话什么意思？
So, if I remember correctly, he's the heir. Also, he's the one dating the Zheng's sister.
冷静，都冷静下嘛。
怀桑兄，奉劝你一句，所谓近朱者赤，近墨者黑，交友还望慎重。
He also said he was going to be more presentable. I guess presentable doesn't mean attitude.
开船。魏无羡，你
哎，别看我，这回可不是我。
有点不对劲。
怎么了？怎么了？
Okay, so that's either a demon or a ghost. Spirit. Fucking wrong. But it can't be a spirit, because a spirit is of a plant or an animal. Unless spirits take human form for some reason.
谢谢这位公，西城哥哥。
我来了。
Guess how swung isn't going to be valuable to us when it comes to monster hunting.
水鬼都撤了。
But you didn't really get rid of
水鬼
them.
作祟
They just
不止在
left.
碧灵湖，情况比我预想的更严重。
贼邪乎，溜得真快。
怀桑，
See, you call them
你遇不了剑
spirits.
便在这等我们吧。
Now you call them
这些人
monsters.
全随我一同去往碧灵湖。
Both of which are plants and animals, so still doesn't fit. They should be ghosts or demons.
蓝公子，这彩衣阵以往出过水祟吗？
未曾。水
I'm just wrong about the whole element of
我令人在碧灵湖
being humanoid does not mean
大多是
being human.
当地间无人人士。
这就奇怪了，水鬼这东西阴郁的很，通常只待在他们淹死的地方，很少离开的。而且，
Where they were
我
drowned.
觉得方才我们遇到的东西，
They're just breaking their own rules.
魏公子和忘机合力都未能抓住，那东西的确邪异非常。
所以单靠拉网就更抓不住它了。要是有什么东西能像罗盘那样指出邪祟的方位就好。
喂，低头看水，专心找你的，别老异想天开。
修仙遇见曾经也是异想天开呀。还有啊，我看这碧灵湖怨气深重，方闹水祟，与其抓几只水鬼扬汤止沸，不如炼化怨气，决心止火。
Well, yeah, as for that thing you almost got kicked out of class for. No, you did get kicked out of class for, actually.
“喂，冷战，看我，看我，看我！”
喂，对不起，你能不能干点正经事？
Okay, we're splashing. I thought we were about to knock his ass into the water. Also, can't we, like, fly? Dude's fucking strong. Or he's manipulating the water some hardcore style.
水鬼，
Oh, okay.
魏公子，你是怎知他们在忘机传递的呢？
简单，吃水不对。船上只有蓝二公子一人，但吃水却比2个人的船还深，所以船底肯定有东西。
果然经验老道。
No, I was going to point out before, we've seen on multiple occasions the Lan clan people flying through the air. Wouldn't that be more convenient than this?
哎，喂，你我呀，蓝二公子，来。
Oh, something big crawling up.
来了！
Oh, it looked like it was a giant thing with, like, only a couple of arms. Not a mass of arms. I didn't know we were fighting Robin from One Piece. See, I could accept that as being spirits, by the way.
和敏，
随便。
Because it was just disembodied hands.
随意扯，视为不敬。
当初江叔叔赐剑给我，让我起名，我怎么起都不满意，想让江叔叔帮我起一个，就答了句随便。谁知剑出好后，还真叫随便了。
So it's named whatever.
骗你吧？
荒唐。
有何荒唐的？这名字多好。
I guess the element that he did that and it glowed red, nobody's concerned. Either that's not demonic or they haven't labeled that as demonic yet. Well, no shit. That's not much of a warning. We're all here fighting shit in the water. Oh, I get it. When they're flying, they were standing on their swords. Makes sense now. So anyone with a spirit sword can fly, I'm assuming.
这是 停下来了。
Sushi?
多谢几位公子出手相救。
Oh, okay. I thought that was the school guy for a second. They said he was gone.
分明有水鬼压往，怎么？
I said I'd accept it more if they called them spirits, but now I'm still like, these are not spirits. The hair, the weird hair soot and kelp. Yeah, that's spirits, fine.
有些不太对啊。
Human form things, why you call them spirits? Oh, now we're to the thing that the Wen clan pushed downriver. Oh, now I'm just seeing the line down the middle of it.
是水行渊。
Again, if it's a demon, it should come from a person. Yep, there we go. There's flying on the swords. I was right.
当下先救人要紧。江公子、魏公子，你二人一组；望基、金公子和我一组，分开行。是。
He'd have to practice the shit out of balance. Or I guess not, actually, because he was falling upside down and the sword was sticking to his feet. Guess he's doing that thing they did in Naruto. Is that Tsushui? I'm saying you could also just break for shore and toss them on the ground. I don't know if it's like spoiler matter, but you know, we know this isn't where he dies. We know Cheng doesn't die here either. Or Zahn, for that matter. That guy's probably fucked. Is this gonna be the first use of demonic energy? But where would he even learned it from?
wuxian.
Okay, not him. He gets rescued. Maybe the impetus for him to eventually start using it?
南战，你救我非揪着我领子干嘛？快憋死我了！
我不与旁人触碰。
咱们都这么熟了，哪里还算旁人啊？
Maybe inspired by his effort to save a Lan clan member? Even though, again, ultimately it seems he failed.
“兄长，水星渊未除，怕是这采邑镇的百姓还要受苦。
水星渊本就极难去除，我们只能暂时将其封在碧灵湖，待叔父他们归来，再做打算。
哎，竟然给你捡回来了！
Again, another impetus
在想什么呢？
for Wei to actually pursue his goal.
水行渊这东西，隔段时间就要有活人沉船献祭，否则便会作妖。可一片水域要养出水行渊，也得之前常常发生沉水惨事，怨气够重够足才行。可采邑镇人人都熟谙水性，怕是不可能养得出水行渊吧？
的确如此。
那便是从别的地方被赶过来的。
Well,
兄长，
we're gonna find out how the Wen clan fucked us.
受过水星渊之扰。
岐山温氏，
温家人也太过分了，自己解决不了，便驱赶出来祸害他人。
唉，温氏现如日中天，仙门大半都是其父，他家霸道专制惯了。
Well, there we go. Answering the question. Everyone's a dependent of them because they rely on them.
魏公子所言，甚是。
那魏婴说的轻巧，他们云梦受不得温家欺压，就自己反啊，何苦拖其他家下水？
若人人都像你说的这般明哲保身，距仙门百家沦为温氏鹰犬之日，怕是不远了。
枪打出头鸟，
Well,
以后类似的话，最好莫再说。
having come from the future, we know how all this works out for them.
不过有些话总得有人说的。你支持？
谢郎君，
哦，
侬好，有点小意思，谢谢谢郎君今朝个救命之恩。
那便多谢姐姐厚赠了。姐姐人生的美，送的琵琶也甜。
不知谢郎君您长了好处，自不为敌。
And they haven't shown us her face. But she's making me think, is she somebody? Or is she just a random background character from this episode?
姐姐，你看她好看不好看啊？
喂呀，好看。
那再多夸夸她。
Okay, just background. We're only getting their voices.
谁送她一个吧？ 只送我不送他，怕他回去跟我掐醋嘞。哎，南战，你姑苏话真好听，你教教我姑苏话怎么骂人吧。
Yeah, at this point, though, you're gonna have like a baseball arm to catch up with them.
要不买一筐回去？
不想。
All right. So, problem I'm still having is the element that they still keep. I say they keep. I don't know if they are or not mischaracterizing what the creatures. The problem is I can't use the word monsters because now we have a definition for it. But my problem is the definition for it that I have isn't the one they seem to be using. They call it spirit and they call it a demon. And we know that spirits are plants and animals. And granted, the hair thing could have been kelp, in which case it is a plant, and in which case that would fit. However, they keep talking about resentment, and I feel like resentment would be something from the perspective of a human, right? In which case that would be a ghost or a demon. Sorry, I think they used the word monster. That's the element I'm getting at here. Because the monster is also a dead plant or animal. I said very clearly that I was confused by the end of, what was it, episode 3, when the Wen clan was talking about it. Because it felt like the Wen clan was using the same wrong terms, and it was like, well, we just went over this whole thing in the school at Gosu. And now it doesn't seem to be the case. Because I did specifically take that note, so I very clearly identify which thing would be which. But I have to take it that the people in the show are the people in world, and that they're going to know their shit better than I can. So if I'm getting it wrong, based on the words that they gave me, then it has to be me misinterpreting it. Because I would hate to think that it's just poorly translated, and that I'm misunderstanding because I'm getting the translation wrong. So I have to think that I'm just getting it wrong. You know, among the many things, by the time this hits YouTube or something, I will be getting so many notes about wrong translation, wrong relationship tree, wrong everything else. I don't know. Obviously, it seemed like the majority of this episode was dealing with the fallout of the Wen clan pushing this thing into those waters and those conflicts there. Obviously, it feels also like Wei is onto something when he's going back over the resentment thing that he brought up before, and that's going to lead him somewhere, but obviously not now, which is great because, again, I was asking where would he have learned it from, because I was worried that he was going to pull something right there in the water, and I would appreciate it more if he actually, like, tries stuff and learns it over time, that we get to see that process. Also the element that it seemed, I might be misremembering, and that's going to come up in the notes next time if I'm wrong. It seemed like, what's his name? The guy in the yellow robes, because I'm also forgetting his clan, was like, keep the Zhang away from me. And it's like, aren't you with Shang's sister, who would be a Zhang? So where's that coming from? If he didn't say that, then I'm just wildly misunderstanding that situation, because if he didn't, everything makes more sense than if he did. But if he did, then maybe it's like a Romeo and Juliet thing, except that he found the one he's accepting, and that he's still very whatever you call that against the rest of the family. Yeah, though, other than that, I don't really have much to go over here. The fight scenes are great spectacles. They are visually entertaining, and there's a lot going on there. It does a great job at it. It's just not a lot to talk about in the end of the day. not as much as when you go over like what's the character relationships, what are they building up for, how is this going to play out against the stuff that we learned in the future. All of that is the stuff that I really can get set up for. The fights are cool to watch, but again, unless they do something new or there's something world building in the fight itself, kind of left hanging. So, all that said, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?